people quickly get in a habit to watch dashboard, but not taking action on it, on analytics. I'm always saying 1st of January, everybody taking a subscription to the gym. They go 2 times. They don't see the result. The six pack is not arriving. They don't go anymore, but they pay for 12 months. I want to avoid that at all costs with our customer. So for us, it's our responsibility to help them get those dashboards and charts ready, but to make sure that they extract value for them and value for their end customer. And that is where AI will play a huge role.
Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm super excited about our conversation. And I was hoping to kick things off. You could tell us just a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got to where you are right now.
Hello, Christina. Same on my way. Very happy that we finally managed to catch up. Quick word about myself. I try to position myself as the OG because I'm 43. I'm in the SaaS industry probably for something near 20 years now. And I've done pretty all the jobs over there, except coding. So I'm not an engineer. And I never run finance as well. Long story short, I worked 15 years for a CRM company in Belgium, where started there more as a customer success. So the guy that wanted to help. I was pretty good at our platform. So my boss quickly decided that I should go do sales again. So I went back for sales, did that for a couple of time, went back to CS, because we were scaling outside Belgium, and Europe is a more complex market than the US because we speak many languages and blah, blah, blah. My dream was always to become a VP of product, but I did 1 year of product management. And then the company really grew very fast, in the sense that on a weekend, we went from a team of 60 people in 3 markets to a team of 150 people and 8 markets. And so my boss decided that I had to take over the marketing because we did that with an acquisition. After that, we can go in more details if people want about my background. But so yes, a bit of a hybrid profile, mixing sales, marketing, customer success, and product for sure.
Awesome. So, what does your current daily activity kind of look like?
So for those guys now, I've been a client of Luzmo. So Luzmo is what we call embedded analytic. When I need to explain it to my mom, I'm always saying, you see that lovely graphic when you go on your mobile app about your consumption of energy, gas, electricity. That's me. I'm the graphics behind it. And I act as the VP of growth. Still not really sure about what growth mean, or VP growth. To me, it's a mix between sales and marketing and leveraging product knowledge around it. That would be my definition.
And what were, I guess, the biggest things you've done to drive that growth at Luzmo in this case, or maybe things that you feel have had the biggest impact thus far?
So I'm still pretty new in the company because I'm there 10 months and the company is 10-year-old since 2 weeks. What I try to do over here is that Luzmo is really what I consider as a David between the Goliaths. Our competitors are really the big guys out there. And I think, or not I think, I'm convinced that what can give you a chance to compete with those guys is having bold opinions about things, having like a voice that stand out. But we are a product and maybe even an engineering kind of company. So they love to express it in small groups. It's much tougher to get it spread out there, getting it like on stage and be a bit ballsy about things. It's not really core in the DNA of the company. So I think that is where I try to act the most on the people inside. And I'm also a big believer that helping/educating the market is the way to go when you're a challenger in the market. So we're doing a lot of webinar, MS sessions, going in trade shows, but we don't do trade shows with booths. We just go speaking and then networking with people. We really try to preach what we do. I think that's really my mission over here is preaching our philosophy, how we want to support the businesses growing globally.
Okay. Since you were talking earlier about specifically what you guys do at Luzmo, I'm a bit curious about how the product is kind of invisible. Like users don't really see it because it's in the back end, and it's more, I guess, developer centric rather than, or like it's an
Not per
embedded
se.
product.
Yeah, it's an embedded
Okay.
product. So I don't think it's backend because we are definitely front end much more than backend.
Yeah.
I think one of the major differences in the dashboarding world, let's make it like as simple as possible. You have people that crunch data for internal purposes. Think at all those financial person, analyst inside a company, and they need to show a lovely graphic in Power BI to the internal stakeholder about finance and those things. That's not what we do. I would be way too expensive for that. My job is really to help companies that collect and produce a lot of data to, in a way, help them build products around it. So let's take a simple example. Most of the people know Stripes. It's that payment system. So they collect a lot of transaction, and the product that they build is a dashboard of the transactions. So they built Stripe around on top of data. And that's what we help to do on the visual aspect of it. So they will build the infrastructure, the connectors, and we will help them make lovely charts and dashboards so that people can have insight, act on it. And the next move of that is probably, instead of having dynamic graphics, I would say, where you can like, oh, show me on this and this, it's giving the hand to you, the end user, for example. For example, you can start, I don't know, having a cohort with external data of you. That's the next level where you want to go. It's from data insight to data actions.
Do you see AI having a big role in that future step of like kind of querying your own data, or how do you see that panning out? Because I'm a bit curious.
I think it's a very fair question. I think today everybody try to say that they are AI native or powered by AI, of all those fuzzy words that we can use. Let's face it, I think AI is a natural evolution of the internet because I'm old. I can say that now. So probably like we saw internet coming, AI is running the same kind of play. Where I see AI a lot in our world, it's really first of all, helping on the unstructured data. So to be able to produce insightful charts and dashboards, you need to have structured data. And let's face it, data is most of the time a big mess in any organization. Think at simple things. How do you want to reproduce, I don't know, a bar chart if the name of your Excel sheet is like product one, product two, product five, and then product XYZ? That doesn't make any sense. So you cannot reproduce or produce a visual aspect of something that doesn't make sense. That is where AI can really help a lot. And that's where we use it today. So instead of saying, oh, buy services with us and we will re-clean up your data and clustering like it is, you use AI directly with our platform and you say, hey, here is a sample of my data, help me structure it, give it more sense. And then the AI will say, oh, I see this. Might we be talking about product over here? Is this maybe a transaction? And then it will relabel, for example, the columns in your Excel sheet. Then you have sense. That's a first level, I think. It's speed to setup. It's getting more structure information to be able to extract something out of it. That's the first level, what we do. The second level, it's where it's getting a bit magic, as I can say, is we're using a lot of voice at the moment and testing a lot of voice. So you have that lovely dashboard at Google Analytics, for example. And instead of you trying always to understand the data, when I logged in every morning in my own instance of Luzmo, I have a summary of everything that happened from my website conversion to my outreach action. And basically, it's already interpreting and giving me a first resume, I would say, from 6 charts. And then I can start chatting with it. That's pretty cool. And even go deeper. Could you address this problematic? Or I'm thinking about building an event in Brazil with Christina. What is the potential reach that I can have knowing that my CRM data is linked to it? And then basically you can see it on a map. Should we go to Sao Paulo or whatever? And zip codes are there. And that is where I think that AI will really help get more insight of the data, because I have a research that I did at the beginning of the year when I arrive here. They can find it on research.luzmo.com. It's basically dashboards, or they're dead, yes or no. That was basically an open question. Because I think people quickly get in a habit to watch dashboard, but not taking action on it, on analytics. That's the worst thing that can happen. I'm always saying 1st of January, everybody taking a subscription to the gym. They go 2 times. They don't see the result. The six pack is not arriving. They don't go anymore, but they pay for 12 months. I want to avoid that at all costs with our customer. So for us, it's our responsibility to help them get those dashboards and charts ready, but to make sure that they extract value for them and that they can extract value for their end customer. And that is where AI will play a huge role. I want to be positive about the future. I think AI will just empower people more than what we want to see from the dark part of it. I'm not saying that there will not be changes in the world, but I think humans had that ability to adapt. And I see how I use it every day, more and more and more. And I think my output is just better, but I'm still looking to hire more people as well. So there is, what good looks like. I don't know. I'm asking myself the question, and I'm listening to a lot of podcasts as well. I'm not sure that AI, without being trained, they don't know what good looks like. So you have always that human thing in there. I see it as an empower for business like us, more than a threat.
100%. It's okay. There's a lot there, so I just want to retrace a little bit
Sorry.
for myself as well. No, I love it. I love it. Okay. So first was in order to even leverage AI, you need structured data. So it has to be AI ready, essentially. You can't just expect AI to use data that is not formatted correctly. So part of your process is structuring data that's unstructured from email or Excel or whatever and making it in a readable format, essentially.
That's a very good way to express it.
That's just me trying to
No, it's
rearticulate for
good. I love
myself.
that. You're helping the marketeer over here, so I know that that is where I still need to work my storyline out. So no, it's good. It's good.
So, okay, input and simplify and restructure everything so AI can use it. And then I guess it's up to the person to use their creativity to best leverage because AI can give you anything you ask for, but it's like ChatGPT. You kind of have to know what you're looking for in order to extract the most value. If you wanted to find some correlation between two different pieces of data, you'd have to ask it like, oh, can you pull up this information, and then like see how to. But I don't think AI would preemptively be able to think about that specific cross between that specific set of
Maybe,
data and this specific data.
maybe, but
Maybe.
maybe not. Maybe, but maybe not. I like it. I think the guy works the Kerrigan, or it's an American that worked for Salesforce, and he's really into ChatGPT. And he was making a funny post, I think, last week. He was asking ChatGPT if those berries were poison or not, and ChatGPT say, "No, no, it's clean. Go for it." 10 minutes later, he says, ChatGPT, I eat those and I feel really bad. Yes, you have now poison in your blood. That's the state of AI today,
Hmm.
always giving a positive answer to the people in a sense that we expect it to be. So there is no critical aspect in the answer that he gives. It's always up to you to validate it. And so I found it pretty funny. You ask it based on a picture, say, hey, go for it. I'm dying of it. Yes, of course, you eat berries that have poison in there. I just ask you the question if those are poison bee berries or not. And
Hmm.
everybody has that with AI today. You're asking two times the same question, you have two totally different outputs. You have customer instruction, you have a different output. Don't forget, I think what I'm still trying to understand is when you were typing keywords in Google, normally you had at 90% always the same answer coming out.
Hmm.
Now that's not the case because every request drop a new output.
Yeah.
Welcome in the
I think
world of
it's to
AI.
do with the temperature. I don't know
Yeah.
if the whole technicality of it, but I think it has to do with the temperature, but then that influences the creativity of the output.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
and you can extend it to hallucinations. The model are changing so fast. Again, I remember when the internet arrived in most of the households. It has been very slow. Google had that browser monopoly for ages. Look, ChatGPT came out, took less than 6 months that they had 20 competitors in the LLM research, and so I think it's just going so fast at the moment that you need to accept that when you go fast, you break sometimes a bit more to improve, and it's part of it. So I hate when I see my son using it. I think we need to train younger generation using it because they take it for granted because they have not been trained by sharpening a little bit their critical aspect of things. They take it for like it's the reality.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have a big impact on the future of work as well for like the next generation of people coming in because if you're if you've grown up using ChatGPT and AI to analyze information for you and you haven't developed that muscle of like sitting there and like grinding your gears trying to figure out the connection between things, your intuition isn't as sharp and it's harder to evaluate whether the AI might be missing something. I think that aspect of being able to take what it gives you and determine for yourself what's valuable or not is gonna have a bigger impact. But I think that comes from experience of doing things manually and like
Of
forcing
course.
yourself to problem solve without the aid.
I was listening to one of those company where Meta invested so much money that they took like 49% of their part. It's like a US company that is doing what they call basically the tagging. Because it's crazy, but everybody seems it's at like magic, but machine learning, deep learning, all those things are there since the 70s. So it's just that at a moment we went above a plateau. But today I was hearing the guy saying that he was paying hundreds of thousands of euros to doctors to analyze documents to say, if you see this kind of pattern at your patient, those are the questions that you should be able to ask. And AI need to be trained on that with the human input to be able then to become like that actionable tool that we have today. But let's not be fooled. It has been validated by humans. So it's the learning, where we have, and to your point, I think a kid that will never had to make a research in a dictionary, for example, because they will not have been trained by that, you're losing something by default. Because I'm always saying, I think in humanity, we always try to make things better instead of reinventing them, but you need to understand how they were built. I'm always saying, don't ask me to do a task where I don't understand the task in the globality of what I'm acting for. It will be low value by default. If I understand where it comes from, what was their objective, where it need to go, what's their objective, I think the quality of what you produce is like 20x then. If you're just like that tick box of mentality, I think those people should be scared because those could be replaced then by a machine easily. But if you can understand context, make it better, improve it, challenge it, I think then AI is like a superpower.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask, okay, so a lot of products collect tons of data and then they give you a ton of dashboards and things, and you get overwhelmed as a user and you probably don't end up taking action on a lot of it. So I'm curious what you've learned about the psychology of getting people to actually use the insights that you're giving them or determine what's valuable to people. Because of course there's user testing and validation, but how do you kind of parse which data is valuable and how to actually get people to get value out of it?
Very good question. We have 250 clients in a very wide variety of sector. I could give, first of all, a tip. The tip would be to start small and improve by time. I think that is like a golden rule in everything we do. Don't try to pull up a dashboard with 120 charts. It's definitely useless. It always needs to start from a need. If it's the customer need that is expressed, it will be a win 100%, because that's how we should all think. I think it's easily said, difficultly done, to be honest with you, because as soon as we get back to our computer, start coding or building the offer or whatever, where is the client, that story very far away probably. What I've seen working very well to improve adoption of our platform is working with the sense of alerting. For example, I take you an example. I'm working at a moment with a client which is active in the IoT, so Internet of Things, and they equip a lot of buildings with a lot of sensors. And for example, I will leave this lovely office at the end of the day. I forgot to close the window. That sensor will give an alert. They will be able then to send somebody from the maintenance to close that window. That is like an actionable insight then on a screen that will appear. You can imagine that for all use cases, like you're a retailer and you have a dashboard with all your lovely shirt, your white shirt, you have like stock in many stores, and you see it's getting sold very drastically well in Leuven, and there is only two pieces. That dashboard will shoot an alert, but is also visible on that chart, and you can then readdress your stock. So that is like what I call like actionable insights. Then you can go deeper with business. For example, what I do a lot is trying to understand my different traffic sources, the campaign that perform. But then I want to correlate that with the typology of clients. For example, does an inbound lead coming from LinkedIn in the IoT is even as good as another channel bring me the same time of ICP? And then you can see selling duration, trying to expose it to your previous data, to people that you did convert. And I think that is becoming then business intelligence. And for me, that is what we try to offer. But again, not at a unique level into a company, but for every end user of any platform out there. Um, I have another example. It's Greenly. They are in decarbonizing. It's something really hot in Europe now. And you even need to build yearly reports that show that you try to act for the good of the or Mother Earth, you know? And so you need to show that you reduce your paper impact and this and this. So they have a platform that help that, but then those people want to manipulate that with their own elements. So they want to build a pie chart. They want to have a dot card and those things. So we provide the technology to Greenly to provide the reports and dashboards, and now they provide an overlayer on that so that the end customer can even go deeper himself. And if you want to think from a business perspective, we have a first client that pay us license, and because they are capable to produce a product on top of our product for their end product, that is where I see what we call data products coming out. That is the next step where Luzmo want to be. It's not just, let's face it, today you load an Excel sheet in ChatGPT and you say, make me charts, ta-da, job is done. If it was that easy in a world of app, I wouldn't be there to talk about it. So for us, there is that technical complexity when you need to do it on whole huge volumes and embedding and integrating. But the next step is definitely helping our clients to build new revenue streams by providing to their end customer a business intelligence tool.
So it's about, instead of just providing data for the sake of data, figuring out what's the most actionable use of that data and distilling it to that and providing that as a product itself. Is
Yeah,
that?
that's step one. That's really step one. I think one of the example that I try to use sometime with my friend is like Strava, you know, the running app. You have dashboards in there, you know, amount of step, your speed, your this, your that. But then they have that premium model, which is not, you go from free to paid. I think it's like, I don't know, $10 a month, just to say something. I don't remember. What do you get more? You get tailor-made programs based on the objective that you define, and you get more analytics about yourself. That's me. That's what I do. I will provide to Christina the ability to go deeper in your data. You will be able, for example, to take that 1 mile where your heartbeat was giga high, and then you will be able to correlate it, for example, with the fact that you were running a heel hop, which you would not have with the free option of them. So it's providing more insight in your data, but also helping the end user to be able to dig himself in the data. I, I love to think that everybody is a data analyst in a way or another. That you're good or bad with figures. If I show you my result in maths at school, I really wonder how I end up in a business intelligence of customer facing analytics company because I was so bad at it. But as soon as it's practical for me, then I understand it. And for me, mathematics was too abstract at school. But now that I manipulate it with visual, then it makes sense.
I'm also curious about, I guess, the reliability of data. Is there ever like cases where analytics are not necessarily as reliable as they seem? Because sometimes you have a thing where it's like giving you insights about something and it's like, can I really trust this? Like, how does that?
I think you're right in the fact that there is that say that Americans use a lot: shit in, shit out. Full stop. Full stop. Are we able to build dashboard on shit data? Of course. Does it produce then value at the end? Of course not. Shit in, shit out. As simple as that. So there is always, again, that work of assessment that need to be done. I would say sector by sector, you will have more trust in the quality of the data than in other sectors. Take a simple example. I will say banking information. I would trust it pretty easily that it's not like too cluttered or too shitty. CRM data, which is input by salespeople, I could address it in a different way. So it's again, from how it has been collected, who collected it, what is the purpose of it. All those questions need to be addressed before starting to build anything on top. Uh, I don't think that you would lie that much about your health data, for example, but you might maybe lie a lot because you know that your insurance will go up. And that's something that I did in another live of me, is trying to understand those patterns as well, you see? And then because you will have a lot of volume of data, at the moment, you can kind of identify a little bit the liars, or at least those that we should scratch a little bit more on those specific profiles because they seem to be not as honest as the other one. So I think the assessment of the data collection quality is a prerequisite, I would say, before starting to build any dashboard.
So, data, I think you've said before, like data without a narrative doesn't move people, or maybe something along those lines. So I
Yeah,
was curious if there's any examples you have where one metric might have told like two totally different stories depending on the context.
I think it's even worse than that. I think you 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 can tell the story that you want with data, and you can tell with the same data point two different stories. So the storytelling part is the part that profiles like here will hate, because those are engineer fact-based hardcore stuff. I'm more from the sales and marketing, so we have a tendency to make it or worse to our advantage or better to our advantage. So it's always the same, conversion rates, vanity metrics, all those things. I come from another world. Before working for Luzmo, I was in the CRM. I always remember we did a lot of email marketing, classic story. One of the first questions I always had is, what's the benchmark in my industry? I could kill myself after more than 10 years in CRM by hearing that question, because for me, it was the most stupid question that you could ask me, because everybody has a vision about benchmark. If you're in the media industry, your opening rate is on average 30% in the US. In Europe, it's around 20%. So for me, that was not the right question to ask the data again. It's, what should I do to get 50% opening rate, knowing that today I'm at 20%? That is a much smarter question. That's a much smarter way to approach data and to start doing data exploration. What can you learn out of that? Oh, when I segment my content based on gold clients, silver clients, or big readers, small readers, all those analytics start to move. And so, in my opinion, benchmark, for example, is not something I like. I prefer to say, where am I today? Starting on my benchmark, where do I want to go? The benchmark that I'm aiming to becoming part of it. So that is more how I would approach the data crunching, inside analyze, storytelling about it. I think that's a much better narrative than it's trying to make more that picture of where do we stand today with the good, the bad, the ugly, define where we want to go, and then start exploring what we should put in place. And I think that is probably also a bit my marketing kind of mindset and growth. Those experiments that profiles like you love as well is what gets us to our goal.
Yeah, that I think that's basically like very principle of self-improvement as well. Like don't focus on what other people are doing, just focus on being better than the previous
You're so
version,
right. That's what
kind
I
of.
was saying. If I was selling to a media company in Belgium, and those guys had 40% opening rate, and that I know that the Belgium benchmark was at 25, what do? Do you stop improving?
No.
That would be
Yeah.
the most stupid thing to say on earth. Or you say, congrats, you're good. See you in 10 years when you're out of business. No, I think we reinvent business every day. We need to improve every day. As much as I love to teach to my son, I say curiosity, being a learning machine are two crucial skills today. And I consider them as skills. Curiosity for me is a skill, and willing to learn is a skill. He, like every teenager, and I've been there as well, very long time ago, he hates school for the moment. School is boring. The teacher or this and this. I say, mate, school is there to give you a framework to learn to learn. And then he look at me, what do you mean? I say, schools help you learn stuff that you might not like today, but it will shape your mind, your approach to be able to learn anything. So make sure that you get your first papers. Then you can still decide you want to use your 10 fingers and becoming, I don't know, in the industry, building cars, whatever. I don't care. Fine. But if you want to, you will have a frame that will help you learn anything. And I'm always saying, I don't learn, I die. Literally. I think if you stop learning, it's probably that you're close to that.
So, given your background of being heavily involved in growth and marketing and a lot of aspects, what are some key lessons that you might not have been able to pick up if you just opened up a business textbook, but that you feel were valuable and maybe other people who are maybe a few steps behind you could have benefited from learning?
No, I think there are still things and a lot of things that I don't do right. I think that if there was one thing that people should really care about, is the end customer. I think we all talk about being customer centric and helping the customer, delivering for the customer, and be customer. And it takes less than 10 seconds to get back to your daily problems, which might really not solve anything for a customer. So I think being really customer centric, it's a mindset, it's an attitude, it's nearly DNA. I take a simple example. I was in an event yesterday. There is a guy ticking on my shoulder. You work for Luzmo. You see my cape. I'm like the sponsoring guy over there. I say, yes, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be running with this. I'm one of your clients. I wasn't even not aware that we had clients at that event. That is impossible if you think about it in a world that shouldn't be the case. Or customer success reach out to them to say that we were present there. That person probably didn't give him a response or anything, but you're losing so many opportunities to be with your clients, to understand much more. I'm always saying it's like I've done a lot of sales. Salespeople have that tendency to see SDRs as people in my industry that need to book demos for account executive in the B2B world. I'm hiring a sales guy at the moment, and I say your job is to assess the market in the sense from are they problem aware, are they problem unaware? Do they have already see some solution that could help them, and be drastically in understanding where is Christina in her journey and her understanding of potential pain points and everything. And that's be drastically focused on you, the person, even not for who you work, but what you need to achieve as a person. And then when I was a CS manager, I had a rule with quarterly business review, where you meet your clients every 3 months and you try to sell them as much stuff that you have in portfolio so that you make a lot of money at the end. I said to my team, one rule in QBR: don't start to sell anything or I will be really mad. But do care drastically about the person. Where is she stuck today? What is expected of her? Where is she struggling on a daily basis that we can potentially help? And go deep, deep, deep. I would even go from ask what we can do so that Christina get a rise in pay. That's our job. From a business perspective, that's our fucking job. And if you can have that relation, that trust which is built, you will give me so much information that I have 3 months that I need to do something with it now. And of course, I will sell you something. I will try my best to get you into your next career gig or whatever. But it started drastically by being not focus on us, a company that want to grow and make more revenue and adoption and all those things that we do from growth perspective. And don't get me wrong, but how about you, that person that at the end of the day, if you are not there, my business doesn't exist. So I think that would be really my tip. Everybody will be bashing you at school with be customer centric, do customer reviews, do customer discovery calls, participate in the sales call, go in events, and everything they say is correct. But really do it. Really do it. And I did it yesterday. I asked you in one of those small conference room where I was, when was the last time that you took your phone to call one of your clients just to ask how did they do? It felt so cold in that room. And I was at the sea level, huh? Sea level, huh? Hey, they felt all really bad by my question because they know that they don't do it. They have discussions with the board and like the next funding round and how will they shake engineering to ship 20 times more? Where is the client in all those conversations?
Yeah, I guess it comes back to what you said about curiosity and learning. And I think all those metrics
They
of
go together. Yeah, they go together. They go together. But it's crazy as a founder. You can imagine as a founder, you wanted to solve a big problem for humans. And because and I'm probably biased because I'm a lot in software and B2B SaaS, I would say. But again, I can imagine that in all the sector, the guy that crafts shoes, when was the last time that somebody went to, I don't know, the running club in their city to discuss about kids that are wearing his brand of shoes and ask them how good do they feel and where do they want to go in the next run? And I think it's difficult also. The reality, it's very hard to do. It's really hard to do.
but I do think you're right. Like everything else is just a byproduct of prioritizing the end customer, and
Always.
it then falls into place. Yeah.
The code that I'm always using is it's a C++ company. It's my previous boss that has writing some kind of manifesto around that. At every level in a company, you should never be further than one level of the client. And it's because think at engineers. Engineers don't want to talk to clients. They want to solve problems. And the best companies or all the success story that you read, what did the engineer do in the first months of the existence of a company? First line support. First line support. At the source of the frustration of the client. You see what I mean? And for me, it's hard, and I fight myself. Like it's easy for me to go left and right. No, go. Where is the client? I do prospection. I do events, a lot of events, because I'm a big defender of physical events. I'm always mixing prospects and clients, always. And then they say, do you pick up the clients? Mate, I have 250 clients in 30 countries. I'm already happy when I have 2 clients that come. Yeah, but if one is pissed about you and start bashing your product and is not happy about it, at least now I know. At least
Yeah.
now I know. Now I can address it. Nobody's perfect, or you're never frustrated. I took a Uber yesterday. They say 5 minutes. Cancel call. The ride is canceled. Second time, recancel. I got it 3 times in a row. Will I stop using Uber for that? Of course not. I complain about the fact that it was really a shitty experience. I got the 10%, I think, discount for the next one, but they hear you. And I could express myself. And so you can address it. So again, it's only a value loop that you're building. I think that's it. You always try to have a value loop. And that one should always be rolling, rolling, rolling. It's a never ending story at the end.
I'm also curious before we wrap up about the side of okay, so assuming you're able and you understand your customers really well, but maybe especially in the world of B2B, SaaS and tech, there's sometimes a discrepancy between like awareness of the problem on the your customer's side and them being in a position to understand the value of your product. And you know that it's a good fit, but how do you go about creating that awareness and educating your customers on the issue and also on the potential solution in a way that is actually effective?
I'm not sure that I'm actually effective on it. Again, just in all transparency, I try to address it in the best way because I think that is probably the best question that you can ask about business growth, because that's it. If you crack that, normally you have that loop of growth. Um, how do you educate your market? I think something that people have a tendency to do is always looking at what other ones like them are achieving. And so that is why use cases are so important in business. Because if competitor or some kind of same company as you achieve something, it inspire you as well. And that is why I was saying also that I connect those people, because they will tell you everything that was required to be there. It's like you see that I love images, sorry, but December, we will see all those lovely pictures from gyms with like those bimbos ladies, those Brad Pitt guys with six pack and everything. But nobody tell you in an ad that they work their ass 3 times a week during 8 months, that they were on diet to be there. But and in business, it's the same. You see that use case, which is woo, and Luzmo is amazing, and la la la, and we do this, this, and this. But the reality is, there is hard work behind that. And so I think those are the good salespeople. Those are the salespeople that can bring you those questions to you, Christina, and that will help you also open and unveil your own spirit about approaching your problem. In my previous job, for example, I was selling to CMOs. CMOs are super chill people, extrovert, open books, throw you everything you want. The major problem that I quickly unveiled at my previous company, Actito, was they are hated by the IT team. IT hates marketing. IT hates marketing. Let's face it. Cats and dogs. At the end of the day, that's how I saw it. I'm very curious, so I spend a lot of time with our own tech people, understanding APIs, exchange of data, what are the constraints on volume, where can we not send that much email if you don't have that kind of infrastructure layer. And I'm not saying that at tech, but I wanted to have a deep understanding about the constraints, the possibilities. And so at the end, my play was super easy. I said to the CMO, what do you want to do? Blah, 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 blah. That list of, they knew exactly where they wanted to go. We talk about that evolution. Are you aware of what you need to be able to do that? This, and this. I say, okay, and now I will add that, and that. That's your job as a sales, is adding more value into the process. But the first thing that I will do for you or ask you is I need an intro with your CTO. Because if that person doesn't help us, we will not be able to move on any level or anything that we discussed. Oh, could you do that for us? And then I went to CTO. And I say, buddy, listen, that is where they want to go. That is what I need to have a minimum viable setup so that they don't talk to you at least for 6 months. And after 6 months, they will come to you with so good results that you will beg them to ask more from you. So I was like, a bit teasing them back. Run me that sprint. It's 2 weeks of job on your end. I know that you have a roadmap for 18 months. I want 2 weeks of it now so that they don't bother you for 6 months. Is that a deal? I would say 70% of the time we had a deal. We had a deal. Trying. Trying. I think, sales is about facilitating. There is too much wrong perception about what a commercial profile is. The blog posts, the movies, everything is always painting sales as bad or not optimal or selfish, money. Wolves of Wall Street, worst movie that you could put out there to put some kind of glamorous vision about sales. But at the end of the day, we are all salespeople.
Yeah, it's just finding the value that people want and
Help, helping. A salesperson is drastically somebody that want to help.
yeah. Yeah. I think the big issue is when the sales don't feel confident in the solution itself. I think that's where like it starts becoming cracks showing and then it feels a bit,
Resign then. Find a new job. Resign.
yeah,
As a salesperson, you know that what you're selling is shit, find a new job. Move away. Or
exactly.
ask maybe, or challenge internally. Let's face it, maybe not change job, but challenge internally. I don't feel comfortable because X, Y, Z. What I'm hearing from the market when I'm presenting it is this, this, and this. Might be that you miss something as well. Again, we were saying curiosity, being a learning machine. I learned shitload of things here. Those guys are like 20 times smarter than I am. And we have a tendency as human being not to willing to say that we don't understand. I do a lot of conferences. Do we agree with what you say? And then you see them, they all do this. Can you reframe what I just say? Humans, humans, we are humans. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Let's embrace that.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess to wrap up, what are you excited about with Luzmo in this case in the next year, 2 years? What are the big things you guys are working towards, and how do you plan to get there?
Yeah, so my mission is bring those guys at least at 10 million, myself included, because that's the kind of journey. So I think you feel the commercial profile in myself. You know, it's like I want that six pack in 12 months. I want 10 million in 14 months. So that's like a hard target where everybody can look at a North Star metric. I think it's important from a company perspective. I want us to crack the value of AI in the B2B SaaS. I am a bit exhausted of that kind of magic that we put behind AI. And I want to make it like a core part of the value proposition that we offer and not some kind of gimmick, glossy stuff that you put around it to say that you do AI. I don't give a shit about putting powered with AI. I want that AI really deliver the, you know, what I said. For me, AI, I see it as a superpower for humans. I want to feel that superpower of AI within our product that goes where nobody will ever ask me again, why are we doing dashboards? Why do we do data insights? I want people to stop because they would be so into that next level and pushing more the boundaries of data exploration and learnings and improving thanks to AI. If I manage to do that in 14 months, I would be happy.
Wow. What do you think is the biggest challenge there? Is it like the technical implementation, or um how do you
No.
no.
I think there are many challenges, I think, behind it. I think, first of all, it's still very new. It's still very new. So let's face it, we are merely understanding the internet now about his capabilities, which is out for 30 years now, something like that, in the household. AI is there for no 3 years. Has put the business upside down, I would say. So I think it's way early today. You know, we just know it's a revolution. So I think that is the reality. It takes time for us to understand and to be able to integrate it. We are also a bit in a fear mode. You, me, we're pretty in the digital world, so we see probably more the positive side than the downside, the negative side. Talk to all those people. I was talking again with friends of us that work in the travel industry. The first reaction when you talk about AI, that shit will get my job. So I think that you want it or not, even if I integrate AI within my product, that I sell it to kind of aware people, fear will just get bigger and bigger. And hear me well, huh? I think fear will just get bigger and bigger through humanity because it's a bit under, there is no control. It goes so fast. Look at how fast. What is it now? ChatGPT 5 point, I don't know what. How many versions did we add? Come on. You see the speed of releasing those things is drastic. So you just had the time to understand maybe 20% of something that they already push you that you're back at 2%. And that on 2 weeks time. So stress, FOMO, all that never make humans better out of my experience. When you stress people and that you put it, we are becoming defensive animals to protect ourselves. So I think that is where I see the challenge, if you ask me.
Hmm, interesting. So kind of establishing some sort of trust or reframing the landscape of AI in a way that's more beneficial rather than something to fear. And mostly in the context of change because that's what people seem to fear a lot. Okay.
I want that
I
snip
think
out
that's it.
of what you did. I want that snip out of it. What you just said, I want that snip out of it. But no, you're right. It's because I'm talking with you that I could express it that way. Because I was never thinking about AI like more a fear effect on people, but more like a must have. It's because I'm discussing a lot with you now and that I'm just back from some conferences and that I think the translation is that we are scared of it, that we want it or not. And even myself. I'm a bit scared of it because I'm not I cannot control that animal yet, and I think that is probably the biggest challenge at the moment. It's feeling empowered enough, trustful enough, aligned enough with it to get the maximum out of it.
Yeah, yeah, I feel the same. It's like both trust in the actual data and accuracy of what I'm using, but also in the impending what is coming feeling.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. It's really I'm seeing images. It's then when you got like the first time in front of a horse. If you never saw a horse, that animal is like bigger than you. You're like whoa, and because you need to how do you say that? Yeah, there are some movements that you may do and not do. There is that learning, that approach process, and but horses are lovely animals, and there is a code that need to be learned, and I think that's it. We are learning again drastically hard. And you can make a correlation for your podcast with business. We cannot run the playbooks anymore that we have been running for 10 years. I was with a board a few weeks ago, and they say, what's your biggest challenge today? Is that basically there is not a playbook on what I can try to build today to get Luzmo at 10 million, because mass outreach, like with this multi-channel touch point, LinkedIn social selling, all those things today with AI or like 10, 20x in volume. So we even throw more not good, I would say, thanks to AI. So on what are we going to build the growth of our businesses tomorrow? And this is why I'm doing a lot of field marketing and event marketing. I hope that you are real and that I'm not talking to an 11 lab avatar over here. You see what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's so true. And I think this is a common thing is I think real in-person experiences are going to become the new commodity because they're not fake, like you can't fake them and they're tangible. And for so long, like we've been living in the digital realm. And now when you think about social media, what is the point of watching content that is like you can't even distinguish between AI and reality. Okay, maybe there's some entertainment value, but the reason you watch like different YouTubers or creators is because they're real people and you have a sense of connection to their experiences. If you know everything is fake, there's that disconnect, right? And then I think it's gonna eventually like if everything is indistinguishable and everyone's pushing volume, at a certain point it's gonna be why am I even on this platform? And then people might go back into real life, and then I think that's where events and in-person experiences will become a lot more popular and a lot more high ticket possibly because
My bet as
yeah.
well. My bet for the growth of Luzmo is that it's getting back to real, authentic conversations. It's COVID that changed that a lot. Huh? Before COVID, we still had a lot of those, trade shows, smaller events, dinners. It was part of life. I remember I was a sales guy where we were selling still with the phone, even not with the emails. It was picking up a phone, trying to reach Christina because you were at the office 5 days a week before as well. All that thing for you seems totally normal, remote and everything. Guys, that stuff is not 10-year old.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much for the conversation. I learned a lot
Pleasure,
and I
Christina.
really enjoyed picking your brain.
I'm happy that you could pick my brain, and if there is value in it, then even better. I'll really appreciate the exchange. Thank you for making me think about something that sometimes you feel here and here, but that you cannot express. So I'm curious to listen to myself. I hope I say only smart things, which will probably not be the case. But happy that people challenge me on every stupid thing I said, and to be a bit roasted by the community is always a good thing as well. That's how you learn and grow as well.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Christina.